So today I'm in a Bentley Arnage, and what a vehicle this is. It's a 6.7 litre twin turbo, and it's just... I've driven a lot of Bentleys, and this is something really special. And we'll talk about it as we go for a bit of a spin. Let's knock it into gear and let's just float off. It's a bit of a hybrid vehicle, this. I don't mean hybrid as in the traditional sense of a hybrid vehicle that's part electric and part petrol or part combustion engine. Nothing like that. I mean hybrid as in it's part a luxurious magical carpet ride, like Aladdin's carpet, and it's part a vacuum cleaner. Because, and I say that because it literally vacuums up, hoovers up. I know we're using a brand name there that everyone knows, but it hoovers up the road as it goes. Anything that gets in its way is going to get sucked into this massive grill on the front of the thing. It's just so powerful, it's untrue. The 0 to 60 on this thing's 5.5 seconds. When I'm talking about 5.5 seconds, I'm not talking about a fast Audi or an M car or something like that. I'm talking about a Bentley that weighs the best part of 3 tons. 3 tons! It's 5.5 meters long. It's just... I mean, this is the most luxurious living room you've ever sat in on 4 wheels travelling down the road. But it'll get you from 0 to 60 in 5.5 seconds. Please, just pause the video and just let that sink in for a minute. 5.5 seconds 0 to 60 is something that, is the weight of a tank and has got all this luxury. And you see the weight of this vehicle when you do things like you fill the fuel up on it. So you open the filler cap, and the fuel filler cap is chrome, and it weighs, probably weighs about half a kilo, this thing. It's ridiculous, the weight of it. Why have they done that? Why don't they use plastic? Because it's a Bentley, a proper Bentley. I've driven several Bentleys over the years. I've driven a Continental, this is a 2009 Arnage. Driven a Continental, it was about an 06, 07 reg. I've driven a brand new Bentayga. I've driven a Flying Spur, a couple of years old Flying Spur, and I think this is probably my favourite. And don't get me wrong, the brand new Bentayga was stunning. It was very luxurious, it was very comfortable, 4-wheel drive on air. That's a vehicle to behold, it really is. But this to me is a proper Bentley. This is something that, when someone says, yeah, a Bentley, this is what you imagine is going to turn up. The Lord Mayor's going to arrive. Not the managing director of the company, but the owner of the company drives this car. So the senior executive turns up in the GT Continental, and then the owner, the guy who owns the thing and earns creams off all the money at the top, he owns the Arnage and he turns up in the Arnage. And that is exactly what this car says to me. That's what it's got written all over it. I think the old Bentleys and old Rolls Royces from years ago were very nice and very impressive and back in the day, but if you look at them now, they look very dated, and they're very dated inside. While still full of luxury and comfort, they're quite dated inside. Whereas I think this is very traditional Bentley and very old-fashioned styling, but not so much that you think it stinks a bit of being old and it's a bit, squeaky and everything that you'd expect with a 30, 40, 50-year-old car. It's not that. This engine's from the 1960s, and Bentley actually wanted to get rid of it. When they first brought out the Arnage, they wanted to get rid of that engine and go for they wanted to look at a 4-litre BMW engine, because at the time there was a little bit of conflict between BMW owning Bentley, so you see sort of certain BMW parts in them, and then Volkswagen took them over, and this is Volkswagen's money that's been spent on this car, but it's still been true to its Bentley heritage. And I think, to be honest with you, there's quite, if you look in, say for example, the Continental of around that time, there was a lot of Volkswagen gear inside it. You could see dials and clocks and indicator stalks and things that were very Volkswagen. In this, it's not that at all. This is very Bentley, very traditional Bentley, and it's nice. It really is nice. I'll tell you one thing that I really like about it as well, the key. The key to start the engine, you put the key in, and it's not a bladed key like you'd expect in a car key. It's like a door key, it's like a Yale key for your front door. And you put that in and you turn it, and then it allows you to press the engine start button. To turn it off, you just turn the key and remove it. And on the outside of the car, we've got these proper keyholes to put them in. Another place you see the weight of this vehicle is in the doors. as you open the doors from the outside or inside, they feel very, very heavy and sturdy, and the sound deadening in the vehicle is very impressive. Well, there's no road noise coming in at all in this thing. The boot's absolutely cavernous. It's a really, really big boot to put all your stuff in, and you can see that on the outside. But another thing that shows the sheer size of this 5.5 meters of a vehicle is the bonnet. When you look at the bonnet, so you get some looks as well as you're driving along. I've stopped at some traffic lights here, and people are crossing in front of me and looking at the thing. It really is an impressive vehicle to look at. The bonnet is absolutely huge. So I'm used to driving big vehicles. I love Range Rovers. I love anything SUV and big long cars. So 5.5 meters isn't a big, you know, like the Mercedes S-Class. 5.5 meters isn't a big, oh, too big, and now we're going to struggle to park this sort of thing to me. But one thing you notice is that bonnet on the thing. So a Range Rover doesn't have a short bonnet by any stretch of the imagination, but this thing, it just goes on and on and on, and it's absolutely huge. It's so long, but at the end of it, you've got that, a bit like with the S-Class, you've got that Mercedes star stood up that looks really, really nice. With this, you've got the Bentley badge, the wing badge across the bonnet, and you can see the wings spreading across the bonnet, and it just looks so good and so flash. I mean, this is the sort of vehicle where the rear view mirror has been I mean, I don't use a rear view mirror too much. I use my wing mirrors, but this needs a rear view mirror, and the reason why it needs a rear view mirror isn't to look what's going on behind you, it's to see them Bentley stitching on the rear seats, because it just looks so impressive and so nice to see. It's on the front seats, the rear seats. We've got what every other manufacturer has copied now, with the diamond stitch quilted seats. You know, everyone's gone for that, but this is a proper Bentley diamond stitch quilted seats. The floor mats, the carpet on the floor, you can run your hands through and ruffle in. It's just thick and luxurious and looks the part. We've got black gloss everywhere. They've not opted for wood in this. This has got black gloss everywhere, and we've got them pull controls to open and shut the vents, which I love. I think they're the best feature of a Bentley in my eyes. That quilted diamond stitching's continued onto the side of the doors, onto the door cards, and in the rear of the vehicle we've got sort of cushioned quilted leather to the sides of the rear passengers. You've got the nice picnic tables that fold out in the rear, which aren't just the normal Ford Galaxy snap-up things on a little strut. They're a proper thing that opens out in a work of art as they do so. The back seats, there's so much room and so much luxury. Reclining seats in the back and heated seats in the back, and the same in the front. Bearing in mind, this is from 2009, so what are we now? We're on 11 years old at the time of filming this. We're not talking a car that's a year or two old. It really is it's bobbing on a bit now. We've got memory seats, we've got reclining seats. These are all controlled from the centre as well. The same with the windows. I really like the window switches in this car. They're controlled from the centre of the vehicle near the gear shifter. They're not controlled on the doors, which I just think is a nice little touch personally. As I said, I love the vents in these sorts of cars. As for clocks and dials, we've got everything. Everything we could possibly want to know. We've got the time, we've got the engine temperature, we've got the oil temperature, we've got the oil pressure, we've got the fuel gauge. That's all in the centre. And we've also got things like, for example, the controls for the climate control, the controls for the head, the radio, and they're all behind little panels so that you can put them away, so they're not distracting you, they're not ugly looking at you, they're just nice, and they've just done a really, really good job of the basic climate control settings are exposed all the time, but apart from that, everything's hidden away and out of the way, and they've just done a nice job of it. And you know, the clocks with the cream to match the cream leather of the vehicle, the clocks in the in front of the steering wheel, we've got cruise control on it, and everything you would possibly imagine you would get on a luxurious vehicle this time. Again, the button to release the glove box. If you follow my channel for a while, you know I love things like that, things that are a bit different. I really like in the Mark 1 Jaguar XF, that little tiny chrome button that you press and it releases it. In this we've got a lock, a chrome lock that you push in. Obviously you can lock with that key, and you push that in and that releases the glove box, and it just looks expensive and flash, and everything about this car, you know, there's on the outside of it, we've got the Bentley badge on the front, the Bentley badge on the rear, we've got the Bentley badges to the side as well. Everywhere we go, we want someone to know this is a really, really flash, expensive Bentley. This isn't an understated car that just tootles along and no one notices. This is something, the size of it, whether you see it in a car park, you see it driving past you, you see it coming towards you, you think, wow. It's it's just, I mean, the issue is with a car like this that whilst now you can pick these things up for around £30,000, which is just for nothing really compared to what the vehicle was new and the, you know, all the kit that you're getting. There's a wasp trying to get through these double glazed windows and not having much success. You know, it's amazing considering what you're getting. But if you look at what these things were new, they were like 150 grand plus, and you think for a vehicle of that you can pick up now for £30,000 is phenomenal. However, being such a luxurious car with such a lot of kit and such a lot of very technical components and a massive big engine and things like that, comes a lot of repair costs. So to keep this thing on the road, you are going to have some maintenance costs. It's not going to come cheap. It's British made, so, well, with a German twist. It's British made, so we're not known in England for our reliability, are we? Let's have it right. So whilst it's stunning and it's amazing, I'm sure over the years the odd thing may go wrong with it and it's going to have a big repair bill if you're going to take it to Bentley to have it maintained. The other thing to bear in mind is that 6.7 litre is very thirsty. You run this thing on super unleaded, and I wouldn't just stick regular unleaded in it, it needs super unleaded. But you're running it on super unleaded. I put £30 in it before, and it went to about half a tank, and I was thinking, right, I've probably done 20 miles and we're nearly on a quarter of a tank now. So it's not the most economical vehicle on the road. But, you know, it's a lot of fun, and if you can afford to run it, you can afford to maintain it, the saving on what it was new is just phenomenal, and it's well worth sort of picking one up and maybe not having it as a daily driver. You know, it's not the sort of vehicle you know your daily driver, is it? You nip to the shops in it, you nip to working and stuff like that. But as for the vehicle of what it is, it's amazing. We've got a sunroof on it that's covered in leather. These, you know, again, these sun visors are just like a perforated cream leather, and the perforation continues down the headline, and it's just, it really is something stunning. With the pop-up screen on top of the dashboard, just everything about this car is just ultra luxury. There's just, you know, like I said, the carpets and the armrest in the back, and the handles that you hold onto, these leather handles that you grab hold of and hold onto. The seats are so comfortable to sit in, and you can adjust them a million ways to get your, you know, your perfect desired seating position. Even these chrome, I don't know if you can see them there, but these chrome locking door pins, just really, really nice, and they thud into operation because of the weight of the vehicle and the weight of the doors and everything that goes with it. It's just, it really is a pleasure to sort of drive along and look at, and everything that goes with that, really. I think the proper chrome everywhere, and the black gloss and the proper leather, I mean, it took, I believe it was 13 cows or 13 cowhides to make the leather for this vehicle, and you can see it is everywhere. And Bentley and Rolls-Royce go through quite a stringent process when they choose the cowhides for the leather of the vehicle. So if there's any sort of imperfections in that leather at all, it just gets rejected. There's no sort of, we can probably hide that underneath the seat, so you won't necessarily see that. That's not good enough for Bentley and what they produce. And you've got to have a lot of respect for that, really. They also choose cows that are reared high up in the mountains. Because of the altitude, there's less bugs and less things that bite them. So again, you end up with a much purer cowhide, and that's what they use for that. So we've got the cream cowhide, and we've got the cream leather, and we've got the black leather on the dashboard as well. That just, everything just feels, you know, the contrast stitching on the blackboard on the dashboard. So we've got black on cream and cream on black. So I think we'll leave that there then for today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please do smash that like button. It really, really helps. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And don't forget to ring that bell so you get notified of all the new content that I drop as soon as it comes out. And I'll see you all very soon.